Technology aside, Paul, how is
Yeah,
your day going so far?
I can't complain.
It's really a pleasure to be speaking with you because you've been part of a lot of artists' legacies that I care about and have regularly listened to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. Anthrax, Sebastian Bach, Meat Loaf, Queen, We Will Rock You. Hell of a line of credits right there.
Thank
But
you.
also a label guy, but then you were a tech before all that happened. So when did you feel like, hey, this is a career, I don't have to worry about hits, I can do a bunch of different things and life is going to be okay?
Growing up, I grew up in a small town called Greenbrook in New Jersey. Where are you from?
I am from Long Island. My wife's a Jersey person. I mean, everyone is from Jersey around here, right?
Right on. Yeah, so I'm Central Jersey, and I don't know. I got lucky. At a high school, just coming out of high school, I met this guy. His name is Jack Secret, and at that time, he was Geddy Lee's keyboard tech, and we started a band. It's called the Jack Secret Project, and I spent a lot. He was in New York, in Brooklyn,
Hmm.
so I spent a lot of time in Brooklyn. I was just 18 years old, and I found myself. Actually, you know what? I got to go back. I'm sorry. I got to go a little earlier. Maybe senior year in high school. I just, for some reason, I knew I had to get out. I knew that being in Central Jersey in this town, my graduating class was 52 students.
Wow.
You know,
Okay. That's
it was,
small.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I knew I had to get out to do something. So I just started to go into Manhattan. I would go onto Bleecker Street. I found myself at the lines den a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Would just sit. I bring my guitar and I would sit in with these guys, really ripping players, and I would just kind of cut heads, you know what I mean? And I just met people that way. And then I met Jack Secret. As go back to this story, and he's the one that took me on the road. He said, "Hey, you're gonna come with me to Greece. We're gonna go to Greece with Blue Oyster Cult, and you're gonna be a drum tech." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't know anything about drums. I went out there and totally just destroyed the job. It was horrible. But thankfully, the guys are very patient. And they saw my talent was with guitar and keyboards. So they moved me. Instead of firing me, they moved me. And then everything was perfect. The world was perfect. And
That's
that was 1985, 80, 45, somewhere around there. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if I answered your question, but
you,
that's how
you you answered a question of mine, but then you also created a new question, which is a fascinating thing about your career is when all the people overlap but in different periods. So for example, you winding up in Meat Loaf's band because of Chasm Sultan, and Chasm was in Blue Oyster Cult. And you were in Anthrax, and Scott Ian winds up marrying Meat Loaf's daughter, and then that's another happenstance kind of thing. So you have this interesting small world thing where I guess you stick around long enough, you eventually meet everyone. Is that the lesson to gather from the whole thing?
I think that's a great point right there. You stick around long enough, you you don't give up. I think that's everything. I think Dee Snider always said that, right? The only reason why bands don't make it is because they break up.
Right.
You know, you get a hardworking band, you're gonna make noise. So yeah, it's just a matter of working hard, and getting lucky. The luck is what gets you in the door, right?
Yeah.
And then your hard work keeps you there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Write that one down if that's not a regular thing you said. But Neverland Express, you're keeping the legacy alive. That's a fantastic thing. How
Mm.
long was it from going, this is a good idea, to actually getting the endorsement and starting to plan the recordings and tours related to the Meat Loaf legacy?
Well, we had Meat Loaf's blessing before we did it. What happened was we were in Edmonton in 2016, and Meat Loaf passed out on stage.
Right.
Meat Loaf passes out every show, whether he goes out completely or he's just on the ground taking oxygen. every show, I toured with him for 20 years.
Hmm.
Every show we did, he was on the ground at the end of the night. This night in Edmonton, Canada, he dropped on the stage during Anything for Love. After that, he never recovered. He went through back surgeries where we had to cancel the Brevet MER tour, which is a record that I produced, for him. And so he passed out on stage in June 2016. He said to me, "Hey, Paul, give me till December and we can get back to work." And I said, "No problem, boss. Gotcha." December comes around, he's not ready because I need till summer. Like, okay, boss. Now May, June comes around and he's not ready. He's in a lot of pain actually.
Yeah.
And I was losing the band. I mean, the guys were calling me panicking. What are we doing? We need work. So I called him. I said, "Hey, boss, we're losing the band. I got to get out and play. And we're great at Meat Loaf songs. That's what we do best. So we're going to play Meat Loaf, and I'm going to find somebody else to sing until you're ready to do it. We're not replacing you. Who can replace Meat Loaf? That's an impossibility." I saw an article that popped up a couple of days ago that said Paul Crook replacing Meat Loaf. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Now, it was just a way to keep the band working, keep the machine oiled, so that whenever Meat was ready, he could simply hop on a plane and it turned into a Meat Loaf show without any pressure. The idea was we weren't going to ever announce it. He would just call us, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna fly in tomorrow." I'm like, "Great, boss." Wouldn't say a word. We just play, or we start the song, or excuse me, we start the show, and he would just walk out. That's how we planned it, and we did that 4 years ago. Okay, so losing our boss last year wasn't the reason why we did this. This has been going on for 4 years.
Hmm. I don't think the average person realizes that, and
No,
I'm really glad to learn that element of the story because not only is this not a cash in on any level, and not only is it endorsed by the person whose legacy that you're carrying out, but at the same time, he was cool about wanting to do smaller shows. A lot of artists don't do the smaller shows except if it's a warm up gig.
that's right. Yeah,
So,
one of the we did a show. I shouldn't say one of the. It was probably the first tour I did with me. We're going back to like 2002, 2003,
mhm.
and 2002. We actually did the China Club in New York.
Wow. Okay.
It was amazing. It was like a 16-foot by 12-foot stage,
You know
and
what?
man,
Sorry to cut you off there. The China Club has been home to such history because I remember reading about that all-star band that had who was the guy? I don't know if it was a Steve Lukather band, but that random band that did one tour of Japan and then just broke up. You hear all these stories about bands that happened because people hung out at the China Club. So
yeah,
I have the feeling this is another story going there.
it was the show was amazing. You
Yeah.
know, I had no idea. Again, it was early on in my tenure with the boss, and man, he blew up that room. It was incredible.
Sure.
Really, yeah.
Well, all that said, and it's great to see that you're also documenting it in the studio with the Paradise Found Bat Out of Hell Reignited project, and Caleb is on the vocals. How did you know Caleb? How did he connect to the whole band picture?
Thank you. The re-recording of Bat Out of Hell. We did that just so people could see what they were what they were going to get when they bought a ticket.
Hmm.
I've gotten some pushback on that. People are, this is blasphemous, that kind of stuff. You can't re-record this. And I'm like, are you guys not seeing the Bat Out of Hell musical, the Jim Steinman musical? You know,
Right.
they recorded a soundtrack. We're not allowed to record a soundtrack. It's basically a soundtrack of the show. You want to you want to buy a ticket, but is this guy any good? Listen to the CD. Caleb is amazing,
Hmm.
and we are so fortunate that we found him. He's very much like Meat Loaf in the sense of he's a Southern gentleman. There's something that goes on in the South where I don't know, guys are just really polite. They're very respectful for their mother. It's a good family unit usually, right? For the most part. We know that Meat Loaf very much loved his mother.
Yeah.
Very, very much. And he was, just a really gentle, polite man. Obviously there was a fire in Meat Loaf. You get him angry, he's gonna pop off on you. Like you tell him how to work a stage, he's gonna rip your head off.
Well, plus
You don't
his
tell
whole
him.
career, his whole career was based on someone going, "You can't do that," and him wanting to prove everyone wrong because
That's
like
right.
you have to look like this, you have to sound like this. No one wants an 8-minute song. You could never get that on the radio. His whole career was basically a "I'm going to prove you wrong."
Yeah, that's right. Now, to get back to your question, at the time that we started this thing, again, we had Meat's blessing. Went around to the band, we got everything lined up. Now I had to find a booking agency. So what you do is you call friends. So I called my buddy Mike Monterulo, who manages Anthrax, and he runs TKO,
Hmm.
and which is a booking agency. So we went with TKO. I love Mike; he's my buddy, and we sent over it's called a one sheet for the
Hmm.
show, and serendipity. One of his guys in his office was taking care of Caleb Johnson. Our one sheet went across his desk, and there you go. Next thing you know, I'm on the phone with Caleb. And that's what it was. Since then, we've joined forces with Day After Day booking agency out of LA. Yeah, we feel good about it. And Caleb is also there as well, so it's a good fit.
And this album is a joint venture between Deco Entertainment and Crooked Media. Is Crooked Media a real company, or is that just a hey, I'm going to LLC this and be a normal thing? In other words, are there other artists or projects signed to Crooked Media?
Thank you. Crooked Media is it's our touring company. It's our production company. All the business I do goes through Crooked Media. Even when I produced Hell in a Handbasket for Meat Loaf and Braver Than We Are for Meat Loaf, that was all done through Crooked Media. We have. I'm focusing on one artist right now.
Mm-hmm.
I started working with her 4 years ago when she was 14. She's 18 now, obviously. Her name is Kylie Baxter, Kiley, Baxter, Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
And gone viral too, which is really great. I think she's up to 500,000 followers on TikTok, and she averages about 10 million views per video. Yeah, she's spectacular, and she's actually doing shows with us. I'm bringing her out. Like we have a show in Atlantic City on January 27th, and she's going to come out and she's going to do All Coming Back to Me Now. We're going to do the Celine Dion version of that, and she crushes it. So she's definitely something I'm really focused on. I'm really excited about. Her talent is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. To answer your question, yes.
That answered my question.
With one artist, we're gonna get her to Madison Square Garden headlining, and then I'll find somebody else to produce as well. After that.
So essentially, it's all music all the time for you. It's just you're very diversified in that sometimes you're the music director, sometimes you're the hotshot guitar player, sometimes it's the producer, sometimes you're the label production person. It's all music all the time.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah. Nothing but music. I'm very grateful for that too. It's funny.
Well, yeah.
Great questions. Thank you so much.
I don't know if these are great questions. I think these are fine topics.
Right on. I last night, I don't know, probably 1 a.m. I'm in the same seat, and I'm sitting here, and I always have my guitar on. You hear that?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always jamming. So it's about 1 a.m. and I'm just cranking, and I was screaming in the room by myself. Thank you. I was just screaming out to the universe. I said, I'm so grateful. It's 1 a.m. and I'm cranking music. And look, how happy am I? How lucky am I to be doing this? I am not kidding. I said that.
Well, your career path, and this is intended to be a compliment, you remind me of Steve Brown. I'm assuming you know Steve from. Well, you're two people who the average person would have went, well, I lost my major label deal, time's up. But instead, you reinvented yourself in that you're the studio person and you're producing and you're leading the charge in a variety of ways that you kind of figured out that the major label is only the start of your career.
Yeah, my father, I was probably 22 years old, and I was having a hard time. I was coming off the road from being a roadie, and I was just wanted to play guitar. I wanted to write music. I didn't want to load trucks anymore. And I'm sitting home and I'm pretty much starving. I'm eating like Chef Boyardee. And my father calls me. We're just talking, and I'll never forget this. I was kind of complaining to him. Woe is me. I worked so hard. I'm saying, and I can't get anywhere. And my father says to me, he's like, everything you're saying to me, yeah, I understand. You're a talented guy. He said this. He goes, yeah, so reality is just it's not an egotism, it's reality. You got talent, you have talent. And we're all talented in different areas, right? My talent's with music. And he said to me, just figure out how to make money. That's it. And when I heard those words, I was like, he's right. I just got to figure this out. This is a business. It's not just about passion to play the instrument. I got to figure out how to make this work and how to survive. So, I did that. And the one way to get around that or to figure it out was I went into production.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just sit here and just work my scales, rather than just work C major scale up and down for 10 hours a day, I got into sound production and video production. And I went into that area, and that helped me, and that, so when in Meat Loaf, when the music director gig came up, I just kind of stepped in naturally because I had all the chops already. And then when it came time to do a record, Meat and I were talking, I was like, I can produce this. Of course I can. I feel like I can do anything, honestly. Nothing I can't do. We all have that time.
You hire the person.
We can do anything we want. And any one of us, we put our mind to it, we can do anything we want.
Well said. Well, my last question topic before I let you go, and this is not intended to be clickbaity. I just don't know if this is a rumor or not. Is it true that you might be going out on the road with a John Bush-oriented Anthrax show?
Yes. John, actually, this is about 5 years in the making. John mentioned it in an interview, I think in 2017. And we talked about it heavily. We were, I don't want to go into any crazy detail.
Sure.
But we actually we had a tour. We had two of the bands on the bill. It was all just kind of speculation. We're just kind of putting feelers out, seeing what numbers would come back, right? Because it's a business, all right? You don't want to go out there and lose your shirt.
Right.
So we just say John's team went out and did some, reconnaissance.
Yeah.
And this is going to work. And then COVID hit. So that was 2 years of just lost, maybe 3, right?
Yeah.
And then this year, earlier this year, John called, yeah, let's do this. And then all of a sudden, Wasp comes in. And Wasp, takes Armored Saint out, which was a great tour. This past winter, right? They crushed it. And so that we lost last year because of that. So I'm not sure what John is thinking right now. All I can say is that we are talking about it. And I feel fully confident this is going to happen because John wants to do it. And believe me, I would love to do it. I'm the biggest Anthrax fan in the world, right? I love the songs. I love my time at Anthrax. I'm so proud of it. And I love John Bush, and just the voice, right? Hearing his voice coming through the side fills and through the monitors, that big husky voice, it's exciting for me. And the guys that we've talked to as far as, a band lineup, crushing. This is going to be great.
I'm excited to know that exists, that you're keeping the Meat Loaf legacy alive, that your artist Kylie Baxter, that's happening. So Paul, whatever it is, Looking forward to it coming from you in the near future, man.
Thank you. Hey, we have shows in your area. We're doing Westbury in
Really?
March. Yeah, I think it's March 31st or April 1st. We're at Westbury.
Oh, and now I'm looking at the corner of my eye, the space at Westbury Theater, March 31st. Okay. And Atlantic City, England, big shows, Connecticut. You're keeping busy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the UK tour. We're really excited about that. It's our first time there since we lost the boss, and they've been asking for us, so we're excited to get over there.
I can imagine. But thank you for your time. We'll get this live in the
Thank
next
you.
couple of days and have a wonderful rest of the day, man. Thanks, Paul.
All right, right on, buddy. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Right on.
Paltrocast.